Hey everybody, we're back with Fallout 76, and first video of the new year. Sorry I didn't put one up, actually the first day of the new year. But yeah, this is a video talking about the future of Fallout 76 and it going forward. So we're just gonna look out over the wastes. I'm at Spruce Knob. Hopefully no one kills me, because this is a PvP area, but no one ever comes here. But yeah, so I kind of want to talk about the future of Fallout 76 going forward, where I think it should go, what I think it should do. I don't want this to be a rant video, and hopefully it doesn't become a rant video, because I did one of those and I just didn't like it. And originally this video was going to be scripted, like fully scripted. I wrote out a big script, and then I didn't like the way I was reading it, and I just didn't. So I wrote down a bunch of bullet points. So yeah. So the first thing I want to talk about is something that I've wanted in a Fallout game for a long time, and only one Fallout has done it. That is playable mutant creatures. The only Fallout that lets you play as a type of mutant without any mods is Fallout Brother to Steel, or Phobos. The one everybody hates, the one that's not in canon, or not canon anymore. That's the only one that lets you play as a ghoul. So there's a lot of mutant creatures and a lot of, really, you can do anything in this series, because radiation, FEV, genetic splicing and mutation, you can basically create any type of race you want, because FEV and radiation in this universe basically work like a type of magic. So yeah, I mean, you could do it real simply. Like, ghouls would be easy to do, in my opinion. It wouldn't be the most exciting just to have ghouls. Like, you need a skin texture change, and then you could have like the ghoulish perk permanently. So yeah, I mean, I guess that'd be a way to do it. Like, you'd be able to have ghoulish without actually having to equip ghoulish. Super mutants, that'd be another one. I know Bethesda has a weird relationship with super mutants, where they don't like having them be intelligent except on rare occasions. Whereas Interplay and Obsidian treated super mutants almost like they're, just big green humans. They can speak fluent English, they're like all that. Whereas Bethesda tends to treat them like bloodthirsty orcs, which is kind of funny, because if you look how Bethesda treats orcs, they treat them basically the same way Interplay and Obsidian treat super mutants. Where an orc in Elder Scrolls can be, they can be a scholar, they can be a mage, or grand mage, they can be, a warrior, they can be, anything. Whereas in Fallout, with a few exceptions like Erickson, Fox, Uncle Leo, there are smart supermen strong in this game. But yeah, I really like to play as Superman, or some other new type of mutant. I think you should always be adding new mutants. And, we have a semi-intelligent race now added to the game, with the mole miners. But I'd like to see maybe a Deathclaw human hybrid. Those have been in fan fiction for a while. You can play as them as mods. You can look up all the art that people make. Some a little bit not safe for work with the Deathclaw human hybrids. Yeah, just some type of playable mutant, like, so you can actually be different. Yes, there's mutations. I have mutations on. You only factor in twisted muscles, but you get what I mean. Like, actually look different. And have maybe different stats, because that'd be kind of neat to actually, like, oh, well, I'm a Superman, so I'm immune to radiation. However, I have bad intelligence, maybe, or like less intelligence, and so, or you have less mobility. You'll be slower, but you be much better at melee. You can take more damage. I'm not sure if Bethesda would ever do that. I'd love to see that happen. Yeah. So on to other things. Unique weapons. We've kind of gotten to this point and kind of not. Whoa, something's freaking out in the game. Oh, the skeleton. Yeah, they freak out. We've sort of gotten to this. Like, we've had weapons like the Tenderizer, which is a very unique weapon. The Fixer was originally unique and then just became like where it gets legendaries, where you can get a legendary version. But like, I kind of like them to shift away from the legendary system. Like, not entirely. I'm not saying remove the legendary system. I say they should keep, like, I have this written out. There was like, the legendary system right now should be considered a type of like tier 1 of weapons, right? So this is what we're good now. And then, like, maybe Wastelanders, or after Wastelanders, they introduce, a unique weapon system. Like, let's say, I don't know what's a weapon that hasn't appeared. Oh well. Alright, the anti-material rifle. That's a good example. The anti-material rifle. So the anti-material rifle, it'd be a unique weapon. Like, it would always have the same stats no matter what. It would have like, you know, it'd be truly unique. It'd have like, I don't know, ignores 75% of armor, has incendiary rounds and staggers on every hit. Let's say something like that, right? So those are effects that you can't get on another weapon. I don't actually have one with me. I was gonna use like Perfect Storm in this game. Is a perfect example. Wow, that sounds weird. Perfect Storm is a perfect example or Civil Unrest, that shotgun. Those are two unique. Well, they're not really unique. They're standard weapons, but they have unique effects. But you get what I'm saying? Where I mainly say that is because we have power creep in this game a lot. Because right now, you can. I should talk about that later. It'd be better with perks and builds. That bullet point I made. So armor sets. I really congratulate them on adding armor sets to the game with the Vault Raids. The solar armor, the thorn armor, those are really cool. How you get the full set and you get like 2 different abilities. You can get one that like heals your teammates with, I think, the solar armor, and you can get one that gives you much better stealth. That's, and that's for your entire team. That's, team play. That's actually, you get rewarded for being in a team, and that's really cool. However, like, they need to add more of that. Same with the power, or I guess the power armor set works as well, and the excavator is also a set, but they really need to add more of that, where having, all this set gives you a bonus, and they should do it more of a traditional MMO style instead of just one effect. Most MMOs give you like, what, 4 or 5 effects, depending on how many. Like, you could have, I don't know, plus 5 strength, for, like, if you get all the set of something, let's say, I don't know, plus 10 strength, gains criticals twice as fast, and faster reload speed, or faster swing speed, depending on, just the way MMOs actually do it. Because Fallout 76 is an MMO, right? As much as we say it's not, it is. It's an MMO light. This brings me to the dungeons and the raids. Well, I congratulate them on adding these armor sets. The dungeons and the raids need work. Because the first dungeon they added, right? The thing that they first called a dungeon, there's a couple dungeons in the game, but the burrows, right? The burrows it's kind of very lackluster for what you'd call a dungeon, right? Like, you look at games like, I guess, Destiny, The Division, or, as other MMO-light kind of games. What's another MMO-light? Oh, Anthem. I don't think anybody's looking at Anthem, though. That game's doing worse than Fallout 76. So, like, when you look at, like, Destiny and The Division, those are probably the 2 best examples, besides going just a straight MMO path. These are, fleshed out dungeons. They have multiple levels and stories, NPCs, special bosses in them. Unique bosses. Like, I remember in The Division 1, you went into the Fire Breathers' last dungeon, and you fought the Fire Breathers, I think, no, they're not Fire Breathers. They're very similar in concept. They're basically trash men who like flamethrowers, and to clean up the city from infection. The last boss is entirely unique. But when you go into the burrows, you fight through ghouls, and like, you can have trash mobs. You need trash mobs all throughout here, right? That's fine. However, there's only one quote-unquote boss in the burrows, and that's just an Assaultron. It's not really, a unique enemy that you would want to go back and fight multiple times. And you only get a reward from it from the quest associated with it. It doesn't, people aren't running this dungeon multiple times trying to get unique loot. Not like, the raids. The raids do have some unique loot. I mean, you have to farm a lot for it, and there's no bosses that drop the unique loot. I mean, there's like a technical boss at the end of like one version, but Vault 94, like this raid is almost what I'd call more of just a dungeon. And a raid should be much more grand, in my opinion, and shouldn't be soloable. Because like the perks and builds we have now allow these places to be soloable. At least, or they should be made better. So, perks. I think a lot of things about perks need to be expanded on. There's a lot of builds that were here at the beginning of the game. However, they quickly kind of went away because, you know, just other builds proved to be so superior in the gameplay we have today. Like, I would say in early last year, and kind of into mid last year, there was a lot of people doing the build where you could tame animals. There's a couple perk cards in charisma, high charisma builds. Let's see, do I have any of them? No, I don't think I have any of them. But there's a couple. Oh, Animal Friend, and I think another one. You combine these two, and it allows you to tame animals. However, it only allows you to bring them to your camp, and that could be fleshed out so much more. It'd be so cool to be able to tame, I don't know, like a Yaogwai and have them fight with you. But we don't seem to have that. It seems to just be their, basically just camp decoration in a way. I mean, they might attack enemies in your camp. However, they can die. I think enemy players or other players can kill them as well. So I just think we need a lot more perk cards in order to flesh out certain builds. Same as healer. There's very little point to being a healing character in this game. Mainly because a lot of the healing characters would rely on, healing you to full health and getting rid of your radiation. However, kind of the bloodied builds and other super high damage builds, especially bloodied stealth builds, kind of ruin that, because there's no point in a healing character if you can be DPS, tank, and healer at the same time, or if you can kill enemies faster than they can damage you. I mean, there was an old video, not that old, of a bloodied build with a meat hook. I think it was a meat hook or a Deathclaw gauntlet, one-shotting the Scorchbeast Queen. I think it was two-shotting the Scorchbeast Queen. You don't need a healer then, I mean, you can look at, players rocking, super high damage builds. There's no threat in the game anymore. Healing builds actually worked early on before people found out, about, how bloodied worked and all the other super high damage builds. There were actually healing builds, and that's when I made my healing character early on, whenever healing was still viable. However, that needs fleshed out on, and just group play in general needs fleshed out. They want us to be in groups. The vault raids are made for groups. Yes, you can solo them, but we just talked about that. The vault, they need a guild system, a type of guild where you can be with all your friends, like any MMO, any type of group system. And they also need a looking for group finder, which they already have a prototype of. If we go to here, we have hunter/hunted, right? This is a queue system. This is basically a group finder. Yes, it's a group finder for PvP, but that is a group finder. Why they don't have this, Vault? They should have it be Vault Raiders Radio, Vault Raiders Radio, and you join. It's hey, I want people to do a group or the Vault Raid with. You click on the radio and it joins you up with people. And there you go. That's all I really have to talk about. I think we got everything done in about 15 minutes. I also want to, I might talk a little bit more. Maybe we'll go a little bit longer. I want to talk about their plan. Do they have plans after Wastelanders? Right? I don't know. Is Wastelanders going to be the only DLC they're going to add to this game? If it, I guess it depends on if Wastelanders brings a lot of people to the game. If Wastelanders fails, right, and it's bad, I think that's gonna be it for this game. They might leave the servers up, and we're probably not gonna get any more content. They're just gonna add microtransactions, like more Atomic Shop stuff to the game, and that's probably gonna be it in terms of you know, in terms of content. If Wastelanders is good, I can see them maybe adding another DLC. I'm not sure what they can do, because they can because the game is set entirely in West Virginia. It's not like they can go to other places, right? Like, I mean, technically, this is Ohio. Like this over here, this is Ohio, and maybe this over here would be Pennsylvania. Maybe, I don't know. This, I mean, maybe they can go into northern or southern Pennsylvania. Like we could go, visit some of the places there. Like we could go to the pit, like early on. I'm not really sure. I don't really know what they would add. Yeah, I guess they could just keep adding more locations to the map, but I don't know where they can really add stuff. I mean, this is kind of barren up here, and this is kind of barren over here, so they could add stuff. Down here is pretty barren, so I guess they have a lot of room down here. I don't know. That's all. Tell me what you think about. Tell me what you think Fallout 76 should do, or Bethesda should do with Fallout 76 throughout 2020. Hope everyone has a good year. Hope everyone had a happy New Year. A good party. Did you drink a lot? I had a couple. I didn't get drunk, but yeah.